Happy holidays, everybody. It's Rod with POW Group. Welcome back on The Pursuit of Wealth, your home for MJ Stocks, crypto assets, news, and interviews. Today is Tuesday. It's December 24th. It's Christmas Eve. Hope you're well. And in this video, we're going to be taking a look at the price chart for MSOS. I'll give my thoughts and opinions on the price action in the days, weeks, months ahead. But as always, this is not financial advice. This is for entertainment purposes only. And spoiler alert, we could see another leg down. There's a daily bear flag. We'll take a look at that target here in just a moment. There's also some confluence of another target, which is another bearish pattern that we'll take a look. And we also have tax loss harvesting and selling going on until the end of the week. So I think there's a good chance that we see another leg down, unfortunately. But before we get to it, make sure to smash the like. It helps support me in the channel. If you're new, you can subscribe. Tick the bell, you'll be notified on any future content. And full disclosure, I do own a little bit of MSOS in my portfolio. You can also follow us over on X, formerly Twitter. Handle for that is @GroupPow. Going to be using that as my platform of choice going forward. So once again, happy holidays and Merry Christmas. It was a year for the books. 2024 was the year I became a dad. My daughter, we welcomed her into the world. She's absolutely the most beautiful, sweetest thing. She just turned 11 months yesterday and coming up on that first birthday. So I'm very grateful. I love each and every one of you who supported me along the way as well. And I'm looking forward to 2025 and all of the positive things that we have around the corner. I think 2025 is going to be another year for the history books. So we'll take a look at the MSOS price chart here at the moment. So there's a lot going on here on this chart. I'll just erase a couple things so that we can see a little bit more clearly. So we did have a daily bear flag. I mentioned the target on that was 380. And we've since hit that target, and we actually seen another daily bear flag form here, which we'll look at in just a moment. But there was a descending triangle, and if you take a look at the measured move from that descending triangle, it's saying about 306 would be the target. So it's looking like we could see another all-time low here on MSOS ETF. And then if we take a look at the recent additional daily bear flag, if we go here from the high to the low, and then we get our measured move, which is this line right here, you can see that from the high to the low there, move it out to our 0.32 fib, and it's targeting 306 as well. So it's looking like we could see, like I said, another leg down. We have the new all-time low there at 342. So from that low, that would be about another 10% of downside. And that would make a lot of sense, in my opinion, leading into the end of the year here as we wrap up tax loss selling. Also, big tech, crypto, AI continuing to steal the show. So again, we've seen that inverse correlation with MJ stocks where pretty much everything else has been hitting new all-time highs. It's frustrating, but again, in line with my thesis that we're more than likely going to see a reversal once big tech, AI, crypto tops out, similar to what happened in 2018 when Canada legalized. We have multiple catalysts and reform on the horizon in the US, and I think a similar situation could be unfolding here, but a lot of confluence in the fact that we could be seeing 306 and another leg lower here. If we take a look at the weekly time frame, we're still, I would say, at least a couple of weeks away before we see a stochastic bull cross and a MACD bull cross. So a lot of work to do there yet. And then on the weekly time frame, we're below all of our weekly moving averages. We're below all of our daily moving averages as well. And it would be at least a month or two, I would think, before we see a golden cross. So again, all signs are pointing to another leg down at this point. Unfortunately, it is what it is. I know it's been brutal. It's been a brutal 4 or 5 years. Like I said, it's hard to see everything at all-time highs. Everybody's posting their portfolio. We've been kicked when we're down, and it seems like there's no end in sight. But I can assure you the sector is alive and well. It's not going anywhere. The U.S. names have been getting hurt a lot and getting hit a lot more because their share prices have been hurt a lot more because of the fact that Florida didn't pass. There was a multitude of factors, but we do have rescheduling coming up. I think this new administration is going to be extremely pro-business. And when it comes to adding jobs and tax for the states and the country in the U.S., I think it's all but inevitable. And we know that Germany is going to be a big market in 2025. There's talks about excise tax reform in Canada, and that could happen as part of the February budget in 2025. And there's talks about reform with regards to the excise stamps. So going from like 13 different stamps nationally to just one national stamp, that's going to help cut down. And I've always said it's going to cut down on burdens, on administrative burdens and financial burdens. But I've always said that excise tax in Canada, the improvement there is probably going to come around the same time that we get rescheduling in the US, because what's so important about rescheduling? Well, then that punitive tax code 280E goes away. So I think it's going to happen sometime around, the same time as excise tax improvement here in Canada. I do think that there's a good chance that that could happen in 2025. ultimately it needs to happen. We need to get on board and support the industry. We've seen the feds in Canada are starting to support the industry with, I think, Ontario announced $31 million to combat illicit shops and dispensaries. So that's great to see. And like I said, all of these positive catalysts coming in 2025, I think is going to really ignite the sector, especially with regards to rescheduling. I think, banking as part of the new administration come January 20th, when it's the new, when the inauguration happens of the new administration, I think, like I said, there's talks that rescheduling could happen in 30 to 90 days after the new year and the new administration. So that lines up somewhere around spring, March of 2025. And I think that, after we see big tech, crypto, AI top out at some point over the next month or so, we're going to see a small cap stock season, similar to what happens in crypto when Bitcoin, the leader, tops out. We see an alt season. I think sometime around that alt season, we're going to see a small cap stock season as well. That's just breadth in the market opening up and expansion in the market. And I think that's going to benefit these small cap stocks and medium cap stocks as well, as we see profit taking out of the big names, mega caps, and it'll start to trickle down and rotate into some of those smaller cap stocks. So like I said, I think we have to be patient. We have to be expecting another leg down here, potentially on MSOS and in the sector as we wrap up tax loss selling. So, it is what it is. Unfortunately, I wish I could come on and tell you that there was bull flags and, ascending triangles, but unfortunately it's descending triangles and multiple bear flags. So we have to call a spade and just be a little bit more patient. I know we've been probably the most patient investors out there over the last 4 or 5 years, but there's light at the end of the tunnel. I can assure you of that. This sector is not going anywhere. We have seen more progress than a lot of people want to let on, and half the US is now legalized at the recreational level, and almost 40 states at, as in terms of medical, right? So that is huge progress in my opinion, and I think over the coming years, this sector is absolutely going to catch fire. So going to end it there, let me know your thoughts and opinions on this in the comments section below. We'll continue the conversation there. It's Rod with POW Group. Once again, happy holidays to you and yours. It's been a fantastic year. Like I said, I'm looking forward to 2025, and it's going to be a year for the books. I think we've waited this long, and eventually we're going to reap the rewards of being patient. And as Warren Buffett always says, the stock market is a mechanism from transferring wealth from the impatient to the patient. And as long as you believe in this sector, as long as you believe that, medicine of the future is going to be here to stay, then I don't think there's any reason for panic. Happy holidays once again. It's Rod with POW Group. Thanks again for joining us on the Pursuit of Wealth, and we'll catch you on the next one.